In last week's Parsha, Abraham buries his wife Sarah, and his son Isaac is distraught over the loss. Isaac is saddened by the true connection he felt with his mother. And so Abraham goes out to find for Isaac a spouse. He sends his servant off to bring back the woman who would become his wife, Rivka. And Isaac sees her, and there's an immediate moment of connection. The text teaches us, Vaya'aveha, and he loved her. Isaac loved Rebekah. It's the first time we see this emotion explored in the Torah. Isaac was raised by Abraham, supreme intellect, who felt that the logical equations of life are the meaningful way we unfold that experience. For Abraham, everything is a calculation. When he is asked by God to sacrifice his son, he says, I choose my relationship with God over my relationship with my son. When confronted by the challenge of God destroying the cities of Sodom and Gomorrah, Abraham pleads with God not to destroy the good with the bad. For Abraham, everything's an intellectual experience. For Isaac, though, it's an emotional one. And then in this week's Parsha, we have the strange unfolding of that relationship between father and son, between mother and son. Rebekah gives birth to Jacob and Esau. And the text teaches us the following way. Vaye'ahav Yitzchak et Esav, that Isaac loved Esav, Rebekah loved Jacob. We see once again that the marker of the life of Rebekah and Isaac is not an intellectual marker. It's a marker of emotion. If Judaism of Abraham was a Judaism of intellect, then the Judaism of Isaac is a Judaism of love and relationship, of commitment and unfolding family. Abraham certainly could not have been seen as a paradigmatic father. And we see that mistakes are going to be made between Isaac and his sons as well. But the mistakes of Isaac and his sons are the mistakes of emotion as opposed to the mistakes of Abraham, which are the mistakes of intellect. We find that when we place both of these characters together, Abraham and Isaac, Abraham the intellect, Isaac the emotion, that we ultimately give birth to our third forefather, and that is Jacob, who in some way seems to become the combination of intellect and emotion. And it's only in Jacob that we see that true struggle. The struggle of what it means to be an emotional person connected to a brother who's fearful of that man at the same time, but also understands that intellectually he has nothing to be afraid of. This week's Parashat teaches us that we must be as connected to our intellect as we are to our emotion. If Abraham is the intellect, and that's the individual with whom we most identify, then we say we are the children of Abraham. But if we are the emotional, the ones who connect to people through love and through deep-seated feeling, then we are the children of Isaac. But the truth is, we are an entire people that's made of intellects and emotional people alike. And it's through the combination that we become Bnei Yaakov, or Bnei Yisrael, the people of Israel. I pray that as this week unfolds, we're able to explore both our intellectual side and our emotional side, and in some way find a capacity to live with both, and then we will become a full people.